tell me who was most influential to you as a young girl and recognizing that you did want to play women's basketball.
My mom, honestly, she was such a go-getter. She was a businesswoman. She was a golfer. You know, she raised us three kids. You know, she I don't know how to explain it in words, but she was so strong, and she could do it all. She could work, she could have kids, she could have friends, and she really inspired me. And then I also think, just as a young person, my cousin Rochelle Roulier, she was a McDonald's All-American out of Colby, Kansas, and she ended up going on to play at UCLA. And just being able to see somebody kind of go and do something great, you know, just gave me motivation. And there were a lot of great basketball players in my state, and each year there was always someone for me to look up to.
That's great. And you talk about your mom, and I just met your daughter Ellie in the lobby. Talk about being a mom. You have two kids, balancing being a mom and being a coach.
It's hard. You know, and a lot of people say, well, you make it look easy. I had a player, Monique Billings, who plays for the Atlanta Dream, and one day she's like, well, you make it look easy. And I was like, I do not. This is not easy. And, you know, sometimes I feel really scattered, and other days I have to just say, no, I got to do work today at work, and then when I get home, I got to get home and be family and wife and mom. When the kids go to bed, maybe I can work a little more if I need to. Just finding pockets of time in the right spaces, and just trying to stay present wherever you are is the most important thing. And I do that really imperfectly.
You talk about being present. Talk about what that looks like when you're in basketball mode versus mom mode.
Basketball mode is very serious to me. I love the game of basketball. And if a play isn't run right, or a defense isn't run right, or we're not in like 2 inches over in help side, and we don't help outside the war zone, I'm really, really particular. In my personal life, not at all. I'd rather have fun and adventure. In mom life, you have to be on your A game too. Just 10 seconds ago, I was, finding food for my daughter, and she almost fell off the bed. Then I gotta put her down to bed, and then relook at, okay, what's the game plan for tomorrow, and sort of just, you got to go back and forth, and then you just got to be 100% in wherever you are. But definitely, I'm a nurturer as a mom, and I like to have fun with my kids. I like to translate that into coaching too. There's a time to be serious. There's a time to have fun. There's a time, just to remember it's a game, just like it is with your kids. There's times where you've got to be super cautious and super alert, and other times you just can giggle and sing funny songs like we did on the way down from Pocatello today.
What'd you sing?
Well, she was fussy in the car, so we sang Mary Had a Little Lamb about 1,000 times. Old MacDonald Had a Farm. We really made up some good ones. Let's see, we sang Hush Little Baby, Don't You Cry. So we had a lot going on, and it did calm her. She did take a nap.
So speaking about your daughter, has she shown any interest in basketball at all yet? I know she is young, but I mean, being around it so much.
Oh, she's 15 months, yeah. We have a little hoop in her bathtub, and
Okay.
she dunks it. Yeah, oh yeah. And she loves balls. She says ball, and she chases them, and she's got really big hands, so she can palm like her bottle, and she can palm balls. And then she's got an older brother, so he definitely roughs her up, and she definitely has coordination that I did not realize kids her age had.
Well, that's great. I'm sure she has a great future in basketball then. Fingers crossed for Ellie.
I hope so. Because, when you're around all the girls all the time, you're like, okay, this would be really fun if this was my daughter.
Tell me how important it is just for young women to see other people in these positions. Talk about your players and the influence that they can have on young girls who may never even think of themselves as potentially being athletes if they didn't have that representation that your athletes could provide.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've had a lot of good role models. At the Final Four, we have a moms in coaching little time, and they've really inspired me and encouraged me to kind of step out and say, like, hey, you can do this. I do want my players to look up and say, wow, my coach could do this, and she did this, and she probably wasn't perfect, and it was probably really hard, but maybe one day they'll look back and be like, wow, that was really cool. I could do it too.
So celebrating National Women and Girls in Sports Day, what is the best piece of advice that you've ever gotten as a woman in sports?
Um, to dream. I think the most important thing is you got to have a dream. If you love the game and you love kids and you love being a mom, like do it. Why not? And if you fail, you fail, but at least you tried. You're never going to fail. You're taking risks, you're taking challenges, you're impacting lives. So I think if you keep that at the center and the relationships with the people at the center, it's always going to be worth it. And I love for kids to look up and say, okay, that coach loves basketball. She's a fierce competitor and she loves being a mom. And I hope that more women would be willing to take those risks as well.